Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the July 19th, 2023 Communications and Public Education Committee meeting. My name is Jason Weiss, and I'm chair of the committee. Before we convene, I would like to remind everyone present that the board is a consumer protection agency charged with administering and enforcing pharmacy law. Where protection of the public is inconsistent with other interests sought to be promoted, the protection of the public shall be paramount. As I facilitate this meeting, I will announce when we are accepting public comment. I have advised the meeting moderator to allot 3 minutes to each individual providing comments. Throughout the meeting, at appropriate times, we will begin with public comments for individuals attending in person, followed by public comments by individuals participating via WebEx. This approach is necessary to facilitate this meeting. Before we get started, I would like to ask staff moderating the meeting to provide general instructions on the process for providing public comment via WebEx.
Thank you. This is the moderator. When the occasion arises to solicit public comment, we will open up the WebEx public comment Q&A feature. You will have the opportunity to either raise your hand by clicking on the hand icon or type the word comment into the Q&A box, and any call-in user may press *3 to raise their hand. Each speaker will have 3 minutes with a 10-second warning. Thank you.
Thank you, moderator. I would now like to take a roll call to establish quorum. Looks like we have a small but mighty group. Nicole Tebow is not attending. Renee Barker.
Here.
Jose De La Paz.
Public member present.
And KK Jha cannot attend today either, and I am Jason Weiss, and I'm in attendance. A quorum has been established. I ask everyone participating today to be respectful of the work before the committee today. We encourage participation by members of the public throughout our meetings at appropriate times. The committee respectfully requests that when comments are provided, they are done so in a professional manner consistent with how the committee conducts its business. Now on to agenda item 2, public comments for items not on the agenda. I will now ask the moderator to open the line for individuals to provide opportunity to provide public comment. You are not required to identify yourself, but may do so. I would like to remind everyone that the board cannot take action on these items except to decide whether to place an item on a future agenda. Members, following public comments for this agenda item, I will ask members to comment on what, if any, item should be placed on a future agenda. As a reminder, this agenda item is not intended to be a discussion. Rather, it's an opportunity for members of the committee and members of the public to request consideration for an item for future placement on an agenda, at which time discussion may occur. We will begin with public comment from individuals participating in the Sacramento location. Looks like none. Moderator, we are ready for public comment from individuals participating via WebEx.
Thank you. If you are participating via WebEx and you have a suggestion for a topic that is not on the current agenda, you may look for the question mark icon, typically in the lower right of your WebEx screen, or behind the 3-dot other options if you're on a mobile device. Click the question mark icon and type the word comment into the text box and click send. Anyone may also raise their hand by clicking on the hand icon at the bottom of the screen or next to your name in the participant list. And call-in users may press *3 to raise their hand. Each speaker will have 3 minutes with a 10-second warning. Are there any topics anyone wanted to suggest? I do not see any requests for comment. Shall I close that feature?
Yes, please. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I will now bring the discussion back to members. Are there any items you would like to place on a future agenda? Seeing none, let's move on to agenda item 3, approval of the February 6, 2023 committee meeting minutes. Members, attachment 1 includes a copy of the draft minutes from February 6th of this year. Members, do you have any questions or comments on the draft minutes? I would also entertain a motion if you believe such is as such an action is appropriate.
Motion to approve.
I'll second that.
Well, with a motion and a second on the floor, I will now open for discussion for public comment on the February 6th draft minutes. We will begin in our Sacramento location. Seeing none, moderator, we are ready for public comment from individuals participating via WebEx.
Thank you. If anyone has any comments on the minutes, you are welcome to either raise your hand by clicking on the hand icon or look for the question mark icon, type the word comment and click send. And call-in users may press *3 to raise their hand. Are there any comments on the minutes or the motion? I do not see any requests for comment. Shall I close the public comment feature?
Please, thank you.
You're welcome.
I will now bring the discussion back to members. Members, are there any additional comments? If not, I will call roll. Okay, Renee Barker.
Wait, what were you asking?
Do you approve the February
Oh, yes,
6th
yes,
meeting minutes? Yes.
Of course, yes.
Jose De La Paz.
Yes.
Nicole Thibault and KK Jha are not here today, and I vote yes. On to agenda item 4, discussion and consideration of update to the website. Members, as included in the meeting materials, the board will be updating its website to a new template for state agencies. The vision for the new model is to create a seamless digital experience for Californians accessing the services they need. The meeting materials provide an overview of the template and requirements. It is my understanding the website could be ready for migration to the new template by the end of the year. Members, with this transition, it is an opportune time to consider if the types of information we provide is appropriate and if we should provide staff with direction on archiving of information, etc. One feature I would like to request that staff explore is the addition of a calendar that would include all board and committee meetings. While the information is currently on the board's website, I believe a calendar with the dates would be more user-friendly. As the committee is not scheduled to meet again until February 7, 2024, I wanted to survey members to determine if 1 or 2 members would be interested in working with staff to provide direction or clarification if items arise during the process. We also have 2 members of our committee that are not in attendance, and I would like to query them if they would like to participate also. Members in attendance, would you like to be available to staff to check in as we work on the website?
Yeah, this is Board Member De La Paz. So, I'll be willing to be a point of contact and provide feedback as needed as well for the website.
This is Renee. Yes, I could be available also for feedback.
Wonderful. I may have jumped the gun here. As I open the item for member discussion, I welcome any comments and recommendations to improve the website as well as interest from members to provide guidance to staff. And as I said, we will also query our 2 absent members. Any additional comments, members?
Just, I want to make sure that it is multilingual in there, so there's a language pack on the new website. I'm just wanting to confirm and put that on the record. Is there, on the new website that's being proposed, is there a multilingual pack, ability to change the language of the website to Spanish and other languages?
So we currently have like Google Translate that will do the web text but not attachments. So we do have a request in to clarify if we can continue to have that functionality.
So for text and then potential images or just text?
So right now I believe that it's only the text, but we do then also work to try to have information on our website translated. An example is like our Notice to Consumers poster that's available in other languages as well.
That's where I was going with it. So yes. Good. Okay, thank you.
Additional comments from committee members? Seeing none, we will move on to the public here in attendance in Sacramento. Seeing none, moderator, we are ready to open via WebEx.
Thank you. If anyone has any comments on the website, you may raise your hand by clicking on the hand icon or look for the question mark icon. Click that, type the word comment into that text box and click send. And call-in users can press *3 to raise their hand. Are there any comments on the website? And I do not see any requests for comment. Shall I close that feature?
Yes, please.
Thank you.
Members, any additional comments now that you've had a moment?
Not at this stage.
Okay, thank you. Moving on to agenda item 5. Discussion and consideration of proposed notice to consumers poster consistent with the proposed changes to California Code of Regulations, section 1707.6. Members, as you may recall, the board initiated a rulemaking update to the text of the notice to consumers posted to reflect the board's efforts on reducing medication errors, including actions a consumer can take to prevent errors. As the board provides a copy of the notice to all pharmacies, while the rulemaking is undergoing post-adoption review, updates to the board's poster are necessary to reflect the new text to ensure the notice is ready for release once the text is approved. Attachment number 2 includes a copy of the draft notice. I have reviewed the notice and appreciate the new look, including the emphasis on patient consultation using the board's logo. Staff are recommending that the poster be translated into several languages that will be available for download on the website. I agree with the suggestion that the board add 2 additional languages. I also agree with the development of a consumer education campaign that will coincide with the release of the poster. I am hopeful that the board can work with the department to reach a broader audience on the importance of patient consultation. Members, I would welcome your thoughts on the draft poster as well as staff recommendations related to translations and development of a consumer education campaign.
This is Board Member De La Paz. I assume the posters will be made available to pharmacists, and they'll be in somewhere public for the consumers to view besides the website, correct?
Yeah, so by law, they have to post the poster, sorry, that's not a very good way to say that, post the notice, there you go, in a place conspicuous for consumers to see. Yeah.
And I'll see that there's a QR code in there. I think that was a suggestion previously made. Does the QR code then go to our website, or where does that land? And assuming then they get options for other languages there?
Yeah, I believe the intent is to bring them to where the translated notices are on the board's website.
And so I know the font is really small. What's the text next to the QR code? I don't have the printed version. I'm trying to make that.
It says scan QR to view in another language.
And if I don't know English, do we want to post that in other languages in the bottom, en español, you know, or other languages to lead them to know that they need to scan that to view the poster in different languages? Suggestions?
So if it's okay, let me take it back and see if there is, I think that putting that same language in several other languages is going to make the poster a little bit difficult to read. So I don't know, and I'm looking at our public information officer, because we will totally research this and see if there's some sort of like universal symbol or something that is used to convey that translations are available. I apologize that I don't know what that is, but we can look at an alternative. We are going to have to look at the regulation text to see, because this language, I think, is included in the regulation text. So we'll have to talk to counsel offline as well to see how we could effectuate something like that.
Yeah, and it might be, icons or something to lead them that's universal. You are right, there are some symbols that might, help with that. Okay, thank you. No other comments for me.
Any other member comments?
Hi, yes, this is Renee. I'm just in looking at this, and I know that there's the proposed text and it has the wording, so it's not so much the wording, but the thing that I notice is that there's a lot of different fonts going on, and so there's, as you pointed out at the bottom, I mean, it gets smaller. I know this is a poster size, but I'm just wondering if, is there room to kind of enlarge? There's a little bit of space, just for the sake of, being more visually, to have it stand out. But I was kind of noticing in particular, two things, again, I don't know how big this is. I remember seeing it, but in this sentence, you have the right to ask for and receive any pharmacy prescription drug labels in 12-point font. But I just, for that the wording, I'm just wondering how meaningful that is to the public. So a lot of times people don't necessarily even know the word font or the size. They don't know what size they're looking at. So it doesn't, so if somebody wanted to have larger print, I don't know that they would say, oh, I can get larger print because it says 12-point. So I don't know if there's a way to add, because is it, I'm forgetting, is it 10 is the prescription size?
I think. So the language that here is the language that was approved by the board. So I think if we're going to modify the text, we're going to have to pull back the regulation itself. So we can, would it be agreeable to the committee if we explore that with Regulation Council, they're not present today, and see if there's a way to do that? So am I understanding correctly that you would maybe prefer, instead of the way that it's worded here, and we're going to have to look at the statute as well, because I can't remember if some of this is a restate of the statute or the reg, so I apologize, but we could say something more along the lines of, you may be able to get your label printed larger, or something along those lines. Is that what you're thinking? So we'll have to take that back to council, and then really this was intended to take the language that the board has approved and put it into the poster. So what, if it's the desire of the committee to change the regulation text, we'll have to think through what the mechanics are and then bring that back to the board.
Sorry, I had been looking at it. I missed that. It kind of goes on to that page 2, to the top of page 2, so I didn't see that it was actually in that text. So just possibly a consideration for any future change, I guess. Just, again, speaking more directly to how people interpret it versus, I can ask for 12-point font. Anyway, I just don't know what some of the public would know what that meant.
Renee, in updating this text on this poster, and I think Jose was around for this, it took about a year of committee work on here to adjust that. So I think if I heard you correctly, you said that going forward, if there's an opportunity to go and make it a little more plain spoken, we'd like to explore that.
I think also, there could be comment about that this is maybe more understood, or they could ask the pharmacist. That was just sort of what I noted out of that in terms of having it be more plain speak for consumers. It's not that everybody doesn't understand that. I was just noting that it's probably not clear for a lot of people. I don't know that it's worth delaying it either. So.
I hear you. I certainly wouldn't want to delay it,
No.
Anne, but if staff can check to see what's possible on making any kind of refinements, maybe that's what we can do, is refined. That I think is possible, if that's possible, to check and come back to, but it's not until February that we meet again. And some of this may be covered, as Ann said, in statute, so then we can't change the language. Where would we go from here?
Yeah, quick question is,
Yeah.
how frequently is the poster updated?
So typically, it is updated when we make changes to the regulation text, right? So what we could, I mean, a possible, potential option here is to move forward with it as is, so that we can continue the rulemaking process that is a little bit long, and then bring it back to the committee in like a year and do like a post-implementation review and see what feedback we've gotten, and then look at it as an opportunity to revisit the regulation text. Not trying to dissuade you from doing it now, just throwing that out as another potential option.
Because I think I do agree with you. If someone says, 12-point font, well, what is that? But I think adding, almost even an image, is this label too small, right? And it's actually in 12-point font. Ask your pharmacist for larger font, or, something of that nature where someone could visualize what that is, right? But I think that should come back at a later stage. Let's get some feedback. Let's move forward, not slow down the train today.
So I think we have consensus for staff is that we'd like to proceed as we have it today, and then review on the back end.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
So having said that, I think we now would like to open up for public comment, starting here in Sacramento. Seeing none, moderator, we are ready for public comment from individuals participating via WebEx.
Thank you. If anyone participating via WebEx would like to make a comment on the poster or the discussion, you may look for the question mark icon, typically in the lower right corner of your computer screen, or behind the 3-dot other options if you're on a mobile device. And our call-in users can press *3 to raise their hand, or anyone may click on the hand icon. Are there any comments on the poster or the discussion? I see no requests for comment. Shall I close public comment for this topic?
Please, thank you.
You're welcome.
Members, any final word?
Nothing more for me, no.
Okay, thank you. Moving on to agenda item 5, discussion and consideration of committee strategic objectives. As indicated in the meeting materials, the Communication and Public Education Committee has 8 strategic objectives. The meeting materials include updates on the objectives, highlighting our efforts over the past year. I have reviewed the updates for the respective strategic objectives. I note that some of the activities related to educational materials and public education campaigns were mentioned earlier in the meeting, such as the Notice to Consumers campaign, which is related to Objective 4.1. Additional actions related to other strategic objectives will be discussed in the next agenda item, including, for example, the board's newsletter, which provides education to licensees to assist in operating in compliance consistent with Strategic Objective 4.2. Generally, I believe the objectives remain appropriate. I do not believe any changes are appropriate. Members, I would welcome your thoughts on these strategic objectives.
No new updates from my side. I think they're still aligned.
I would also agree with that. I think they're
Okay.
doing great.
And that was item number 6, correct? Because I heard item number 5.
It was item number 5.
5? Okay.
We're good?
Strategic objectives?
Yeah.
Did I-
Discussion and consideration of strategic objectives. Okay.
Making sure.
Now,
Looking.
that was correct. It is number 6. Thanks, Jose.
No problem, for the record.
No, we're good. And having identified the correct item number, we opened it up for public comment here in Sacramento. Seeing none, moderator, we're ready for you.
Thank you. If anyone has any comments or questions about the strategic objectives, you may look for the question mark icon, click that, type the word comment, and click send. Or anyone may raise their hand by clicking on the hand icon, and our call-in users may press *3 to raise their hand. Each speaker will have 3 minutes with a 10-second warning. Are there any comments on the strategic objectives? I do not see any requests for comment. Shall I close that feature?
Yes, please. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I'll now bring it back to any comments from members.
No further comments from me.
Okay, thank you. On to agenda item 7, update on communication and public education activities by staff. Members, the meeting materials detail out various activities under development or provided by staff. The next issue of the script is targeted for release in the fall and will cover a variety of different topics, including the most common violations that result in the issuance of a citation and fine and the top corrections ordered during inspections. The committee identified 3 education campaigns, the first of which is focused on naloxone. As you may recall, the board is in the process of updating its regulations regarding pharmacists provided naloxone in response to changes in statute. Board staff recommend that educational materials be updated to reflect the changes in the requirements and a campaign be developed to support the release of the new requirements and educational materials. Staff is recommending that the public awareness campaign related to treating pharmacy staff with courtesy be incorporated with the campaign related to the revised Notice to Consumers poster. The messaging would focus on the importance of speaking with pharmacists, as well as messaging about pharmacy personnel and the importance of services they provide. The committee previously requested an educational campaign on the Institute for Safe Medication Practices, ISMP. The board's website has been updated to a link to the ISMP homepage. Further, as part of our education campaign, information will be included in the next issue of the script. Members, do you have any questions or comments on the education campaigns or newsletters?
Not from me at this time.
Just that it looks like a lot of great work has gone on, so that's great, but I don't have any other comments.
I concur, Renee. Thank you. Moving on to public comment, we will start here in Sacramento. Seeing none, moderator, we are ready for you on WebEx.
Thank you. If anyone would like to make a comment on the newsletter or the public education activities, you're welcome to look for the question mark icon, click that, type the word comment, and click send. Anyone may also raise their hand by clicking on the hand icon, and our call-in users can press *3 to raise their hand. Are there any comments on the activities by staff? And I do not see any request for comment. Shall I close that feature?
Yes, please. Members, any additional comments?
Not at this time.
I would like to request of staff to convey any feedback we have from these campaigns. Specifically, I'm curious if pharmacy personnel have noticed any difference in treatment of the public, or even comments from the public at large about treating pharmacy staff with respect. I'm curious to see how that plays out. Thank you. And so now I would like to highlight the outreach efforts undertaken by staff include the number of presentations provided to the various schools of pharmacy. Okay. Item number 8, future meeting dates and adjournment. Before we adjourn today, I would like to thank everyone for your time and participation. Our next meeting is currently scheduled for February 7th, 2024. Please monitor the board's website for any possible updates. And with that, the meeting is adjourned.